Auriga is otherwise known as the Shepherd. Bullinger adds the subtitle, Safety for the Redeemed in the Day of Wrath. Any great story will have its climaxes and rests, and after the charging bull, the warrior Orion, and Eridanus, the fiery river of the judge, we welcome this respite from such tumultuous events. Jesus didn't pour out his life in order to make slight improvements to an already pleasant situation. No, Jesus died to save us from hell, an eternity of lostness and regret. Heaven paid the highest price for our souls at the cross of Calvary. He died and rose again and is our faithful shepherd, and that's how we see him here. This is the image of Auriga, the shepherd who will save everyone who calls upon him from the fiery river of Eridanus. He's northeast of Taurus. There's the bull Taurus in the corner. There is a great deal here to comfort and bless us. David fought a lion and a bear, and yet he was the tenderest of shepherds. He knew how to rend the lion in pieces and how to bathe the wounds of his sheep. Jesus is more so. Infinitely more so. Auriga is seated on the Milky Way, that expanse of so many individual stars that it has the effect of being milky or cloudy. This too declares the glory of God. Now look closer. The shepherd holds a she-goat in his arms. The animal appears both secure in its position and possibly slightly agitated. And now look beneath her. There are two little kids beneath her, who are also apparently bleating with fear, while the mother goat is looking towards the charging bull of Taurus. And she's disturbed, but it only serves the purpose of causing her to cling more tightly to her shepherd. In the days leading up to the Lord's return, there will be great distress and anxiety in the world, but it must cause us to cling more tightly to Jesus. Isaiah 40 verse 11 following says, He will feed his flock like a shepherd. He will gather the lambs with his arm and carry them in his bosom and gently lead those who are with young. This is what we must do in these days. We must allow him to gather us up. We must remain calm and trusting. Bullinger states that Auriga is from a Hebrew root meaning shepherd. Maybe he's referring to the word ro'eh, Hebrew for shepherd. The brightest star is in the body of the goat, right here. This is the grace of God marking her out as the prominent feature of this constellation, the essential message that we are not to miss. The star is Aliot, she-goat, and the star marking the kids, I think it's this one, it might be this one, but I think it's this one of those anyway. That name is Gedi, which is Hebrew for kids. The next brightest star completes the message. It's in the shepherd's right arm. It's that one right there. That's Menkilinon, the band or chain of the goats. The message is, in the tumultuous days leading up to the return of the Messiah, we must not allow ourselves to be unsettled, but to rest more firmly in his care, knowing that we are bound to him with hoops of steel, bands of love. Who shall separate us from the love of Christ? Shall tribulation or distress or persecution or famine or nakedness or peril or sword? As it is written, for your sake we are killed all the day long. We are accounted as sheep for the slaughter. Yet in all these things we are more than conquerors through Christ who loved us. Romans chapter 8 verse 35 following. Nothing can separate us from the love of God which is in Christ. But note that the goat is looking apprehensively towards the bull, which represents the Messiah in the fearfulness of his judgment of this world. Beloved, the things that are happening in this world, which are disturbing so many of us, are simply the rumblings of the coming Messiah. Do not be shaken. Look up. In Auriga's right foot is the star El Nath,
wounded or slain. Yes, it's the Redeemer, the Good Shepherd, who gave his life for us. John chapter 10, verse 11. Now we must mention the appearance of this picture in the Dendera zodiac. Instead of carrying goats, the man is carrying a strange scepter. At the top, it has the head of a goat, and at the bottom, a cross, which the man holds. Could it mean that the scepter, symbol of his power, will be expressed through his people by the preaching and living of the cross? For the message of the cross is foolishness to those who are perishing, but to us who are being saved, it is the power of God. 1 Corinthians 1:18. Incidentally, to the Egyptians, the cross was not connected to death, but was the symbol of life. Just look once more at the goats in the image.
Here is the she-goat, and here are the two kids. When the world is being overturned in chaos and Jesus returns, do you want to face him as the charging bull, or be in the arms of the shepherd? Whoever calls on the name of the Lord shall be saved. Romans chapter 10, verse 13.